workers' compensation and Wonder Bread Hostess cake. The downfall of Wonder Bread and Hostess cake. I was an employee of Wonder Bread and Hostess cake. I got laid off in the city I lived in. I was asked by my boss to come to Pittsburgh and fill in for one of the other mechanics that was on compensation. Again, this wasn't the first time this person was on compensation. It's supposed to have been for 30 days. Well, I went up there, ended up being up there for 15 months. This guy had so many years in, he actually had enough years in to retire, but because of the actual times that he was off on compensation, he couldn't retire. They closed the bakery down in Pittsburgh where they used to actually bake the products. I was told by people that worked in there, they closed it down because of too many compensation claims. And if you look it up in California, I do believe it was, they cited workers' compensation claims as one of the reasons that they couldn't afford to keep the company open any longer. Unions and workers' compensation claims. I mean, they was telling them, I guess the people, they were telling them, the management and everything kept telling the employees that it was going to happen. And eventually it did. It happened. They closed it down. First they started with the bakery, and then it ended up being the whole entire works closed down. I mean, people just think that they can get into these jobs with these big corporations and companies and just, rake them over the coals with compensation claims. And then when the company closes down and have a job, it's like, well, I don't know what happened. Gee, what happened? Look what they did. They closed. Now I don't have a job. You could look it up. Look it up, California. It's one of the reasons it closed in California was because of compensation claims. And they told me in Pittsburgh it was the same thing. They said there are too many compensation claims. You got people out on compensation. You got to hire somebody to replace them. I mean, seriously, then who's going to take the job? That's what happened to me. I had to drive an hour every day to Pittsburgh, round trip, 2 hours, an hour up and an hour back, to fill in for a guy who was off on comp. I'm telling you, these people that are blowing off all their mouths on all this stuff that's going on, they've never lived the life. They don't know what they're talking about. These college students and these other people and all these heads of these different departments, okay, these race baiters and all these idiots out there, they don't have a clue what's going on. And if they do have a clue, then they're perpetrating a fraud onto you, okay? And if you keep listening to them, you're just going to keep going down and down and down. Just like with the Democrat Party, look what it's doing. It's going down. They grasped a hold of that lunatic woke culture and all that transgenderism stuff, and it literally is destroying the Democrat Party. I mean, I was like, I can't believe that a small percentage of a population that calls themselves transgender was literally taking over our government. Not only the government, but our stores. Everywhere we went, it was woke this, woke that, transgender this, transgender that, hanging stuff in store. I mean, selling stuff in stores. And I don't even shop in Target when they pulled that crap. I've never been back to that store. I don't buy Bud Light beer anymore. Never. I was never a big Bud Light drinker, but I did buy it throughout the years. I've never when they started that stuff, and then you had all the Joe Rogan. Okay, this guy they give credit for Trump winning the election. He had nothing to do with Trump winning that election. That guy voted for Bernie Sanders. All he did was flip-flop on everything. Didn't even support Trump until a few months before the election. And then they want to give this guy credit. Give me a break. He pops open a Bud Light can in the middle of all the boycotts. I boycotted the place because it was a disgrace to women, biological women. He didn't give two shits about biological women. Joe Rogan and whoever that other guy was he had on. I saw that podcast. I think I just seen a clip. I never did watch anything that this guy ever said. Okay, why people support people like this is beyond me. They flip-flop. They're just... I voted for Trump from 2006 every time, 3 times. These other clown acts on there, half of them were Democrats before. They converted over to Republicans, started voting for Trump. They were all Democrats. All of them. Joe Rogan, yeah. Well, that's the downfall. That's what happens when you have unions that stand up for corrupt workers, okay? And that's what happens. And if nobody likes it, too bad. Because it's the truth. Gee, I don't have a job anymore. 29 out of 50 people's on compensation. Well, we're going to get these work. We're going to hire more people now. I mean, it's unreal. It just blows my mind.